I'm Elizabeth, and I am in Houston, Texas, and I wanted to share what I do to keep things simple doing Trim Healthy Mama. I'm dairy and gluten-free, and I currently have 5 children, and we homeschool, and my kids are ages 13, 11, 9, 6, and 3, and my husband's a pastor, so we do a lot with our church, and I work part-time as a sign language interpreter. So these are some things I do that help me stay on plan. This is my 3-year-old. I'm going to turn the phone for a moment where you can see. These are some things that I like to keep on hand, and I thought I would show them one at a time. One of the things I did a while back is this sits in my fridge. It says Mom's Food, and it's just a few of the things that I can have. I mean, I share them with my children, but there's a lot of the things they can have, like certain breads and things like that I can't. And so I put specialty things in there. So some things I keep on hand. These are Wonder Wraps. They're from the Trim Healthy Mama original cookbook. And they're fairly easy to make. They're basically egg whites and psyllium husk and some spices. And they're delicious and they give you protein. And so I will eat this with, and I just finished it off in my snack today, so I have to make more, peanut junkie butter, or Coach Canada's peanut butter if you prefer. I just started making this in 2016 and I love peanut junkie butter. And then Slim Belly Jelly is the jelly from the original cookbook. And both of those, having those on hand, are very helpful. And then if for some reason you're like, I do not have time to make the Wonder Wraps, the brand is Egg White, if you can see it through the bag, and they're egg white wraps, and they have 5 grams of protein each, and they're a fuel pool. They have no carbs, no fat, just protein. So in one wrap, and so those are really helpful. I find these a lot here in the Houston, Texas area. Target, Kroger has them. Those are the main 2 places. So some kind of wrap that acts as a vessel that's both dairy and gluten-free and low-carb, because I can't do the low-carb tortillas, but I can do these. Also, I've learned since being in coaching about Canadian bacon, because it's lean and has a good amount of protein. And so keeping that on hand, one thing that I've found in my journey is I was not getting enough protein. And that has definitely affected my muscle health and my overall satiety of staying full or not, and just general health. And so that is something I've been working on. And to that end, I always keep lots of egg whites, as many of you probably do. And then also, in order to have a sandwich, I make a lot. Now, I've gotten into some sourdough, but that's a whole different thing. I make a different, like this is called the Nuke Queen's Awesome Bread. And it is in Trim Healthy Table. And it's called Nuke because you can make it in the microwave in 10 minutes. You can also bake it for like 45 or 50. It's in the recipe in the oven if you prefer. It uses baking blend, among other things, and you can see I slice it really, really thin. It toasts really well. It makes a good grilled cheese sandwich, and that allows me to have a sandwich like if I'm with my kids or we're going to be out and I need to make a lunch on the go. You okay, buddy? Another thing that I found keeping on hand, things like this is the Trim Healthy Mama ketchup from the first cookbook. I keep their pancake syrup made and the handy chocolate syrup. Those are things that allow as the weeks unfold, and you can make those and they're going to last a whole long time. Then the final thing I'm going to share as a dairy-free mom that KJ did not ask me to share, but I wanted to, this is Zoocheesy. So as a dairy-free mom who's done THM on and off for a lot of years, my kids and I can't have dairy. And so over the years, I'd made the Hello Cheese, which I like for certain things. It doesn't melt as well. And so it wasn't as enjoyable for like a grilled cheese sandwich. But it was good in a casserole. But a lot of times we use, if you're in the dairy-free world, you will know Daiya, D-A-I-Y-A. It is not on plain because it's basically made of different starches and oils. So I like to say that it's not real cheese, but it plays one in my kitchen because it's not really food. Zoocheesy is a recipe that KJ created. And the first time I made it and used it, I kind of teared up a little bit because it's made with zucchini, and that's why it's called Zoocheesy, and some spices, and nutritional yeast, and other things. And it's delicious, and it melts. And you make it warm, and pour it into silicone molds, and let it set up in your fridge. The first time I made it, I didn't have time, or the second time, to let it set up, and we were doing pizza night, so I just poured it warm on my pizza, and it baked, and it was amazing. So I now keep Zoocheesy on hand. It's become one of our staples. My kids like it. They'll eat it on a sandwich. They still do some Daiya sometimes, but I'm slowly converting them to things that are more real food. And this has vegetable in it, so it's a win all the way around. So that is my plug for Zoocheesy. To me, it's simple, but that may be more than you as a dairy-free mom want to deal with, but this and the Hello Cheese having on hand, but this has become my go-to. It slices well, you can eat it just like I had it the other day with a piece of Canadian bacon, just like a little mini wrap. It's fabulous stuff. So that is what I do to keep things simple and be prepared. One last thing I remembered that I was going to share is having a plan. So for me, having a plan allows me to start my week, really the month. I do it before the beginning of the month. Is the first thing I do, this is an inventory of all the food we have in our house. And I did this yesterday. I went through and organized our deep freezer, our fridge freezer, our pantry, stuff like that. And then I make a list by the location of each thing that we have. And then my personality, I sort it by like breakfast, fruit, if it's leftovers, if it's protein, if it's canned. So then I know what we have. And I do my initial meal planning by shopping from home. That saves money, and it also saves time because I'm not looking at recipes as much. I know what we have, and I plan my meals around that. And so then I use an app that's called Plan to Eat. I think it's plantoeat.com. And it's a website. It's $5.95 a month, and it has drag and drop features. You can save recipes and drag them onto your calendar, and then it populates a shopping list for you that you can modify and edit and sort by store and category. It's amazing. I've used it for lots of years, and then it has an associated app on your phone. So I have a whiteboard while I write our dinners so that my kids, along with like whatever we've got going on that day, so my kids can come in, they know what's for dinner. Breakfast and lunch tends to vary. But in the app, I plan out my breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. And so when I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, it's been 3.5 hours. It's snack time. What did I plan for today? And I just look in the app, and it's right there. Or you can print it out, and you can customize the printing. And I keep this on my fridge as well, so there's a printed version. So for me, having a plan and planning ahead and having it all set every month, and I just take a few hours one day near the end of the month and plan it all out. And then make sure I've got these things on hand. That helps me stay on plan and keeps me from veering off and making choices when I'm out and about because I know I have things that I can take with me.